What's hiding underneath things can be scary. Underwater, under your bed, especially what's under your carpet. Except when you get new carpet from Carpet One Floor and Home. After tearing up your old carpet, they'll vacuum and apply Health Annex antimicrobial to your subfloor, disinfecting and killing mold, mildew, and any remaining general awfulness. Carpet One Floor and Home goes the extra mile to protect you, your family, and your home. Carpet One Floor and Home in Columbia, making your home beautiful, guaranteed.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, June the 28th. We are very happy to welcome back a guest who has not been with us for a little while, KEN MIDKIFF. And the reason Ken has not been with us for some time is that Ken was diagnosed with COVID-19. Ken was in the hospital and Ken almost died with coronavirus.
I didn't know, but that's true, yes.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you have made a recovery and that you were back with us and you wanted to share a little bit of that experience.
Yeah, and the takeaway message is get vaccinated. Don't let what happened to me happen to anybody else.
Right. Now you got sick before the vaccine was out
correct.
And available to people.
That's right.
The fact that everybody, I've been vaccinated, James has been vaccinated, everybody that we're working with here on Radio Friends has been vaccinated, and we're so happy about that. But there is still a fair number of people who refuse to take that shot.
Yeah, I really don't understand that at all because my friends down in Southwest Missouri tell me that you're going to become magnetic or the government can track you. All these conspiracy theories for reasons that they don't get vaccinated.
I know. I've heard the one big thing, I've heard two things. People say, I'm not going to put that poison in my body. And the other thing they say is that, well, if you get that COVID shot, the government's going to be able to track you wherever you go. Come on.
The government can already track you.
If you've got a cell phone, you're being tracked wherever you go.
Right.
And you got that cell phone turned on. So those excuses really don't hold water. Tell us in your own words. I mean, you had COVID, you were in the hospital, then you had to go to rehab to be able to walk again.
Right.
The experience that you went through.
Well, I got it from COVID-19 from my wife, who also tested positive, and I tested positive. And she had very mild symptoms, hardly any symptoms at all. And I was just the opposite.
Everybody is different.
Yeah. My symptoms were dire. Woke up, I was taking a nap, and I had no feelings in my right hand. And it was totally numb. And I thought, well, maybe I just slept on it or something. And it got worse while I was awake. And so we finally went to the emergency room, and it so happened that the doctor in the emergency room on call doctor was there. And he was a vascular surgeon. And he immediately diagnosed me as having COVID-19, and he turned to an aide and said, get the operating room ready and get the anesthesiologist here. And the anesthesiologist showed up almost immediately. He must have been in the hospital somewhere. And he asked me if I was allergic to anything, and I said no. And he said, okay, fine. He injected me with something, and the next thing I knew, I was waking up in the recovery room. And then they sent me to intensive care unit, ICU. And the same thing happened the following night. Woke up, and my hand was numb, and it was at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the doctor came in and did this surgery again. And later he told me jokingly, I think, he said, well, I'm happy to serve you, but don't wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So,
yeah. Well, now how the COVID-19 caused this in your arm?
Yeah, it was a blood clot. And that's one of the things that can happen to you. And I also had pneumonia, which I didn't know until later. So the symptoms vary considerably. Some people have hallucinations. Who are you? As far as I know, I don't have hallucinations.
What about your sense of taste and smell?
That was never affected. That happens to some people, but not to me.
How long did it take you to recover? And would you say that you are fully recovered, or are you still in the recovering stage?
Well, I still have some problems. I'm now walking far, probably. Originally, I could walk 8 miles or so without any problem.
This was before COVID.
Before COVID. And now, the most I've walked recently has been 5 miles. And,
well, that's pretty good, Ken.
Yeah, I know. And my goal was to walk 6 miles, but I'm going to wait for cool weather or cooler weather to do that.
Yeah. But when you...
Maybe sometime in September.
When you were in rehab, learning to walk again, and you corrected me. You said you never forgot to walk,
right.
But it was just that the muscles had become so weak because you were in bed. How long were you in bed?
I don't really remember. I was in ICU for probably, I'm going to say, a month, and then they discharged me, and I went to a post-acute facility where I was in that for 2 months. So altogether, I was in the hospital for probably 3 months.
And most of that time you were immobile.
Correct.
And so what happens to the body and the muscles is they simply collapse.
Right, they atrophy.
And you have to, when you're ready to start walking and moving again, all of that has to be rebuilt.
Correct.
So when you think about what COVID did to you, and then you have some people that you know that are saying, I'm not going to take that shot because that shot can kill you.
But things don't stick to me, so I'm not magnetic.
Right. But I mean, how do you answer somebody?
I don't.
When you've been through this, you had it firsthand.
Yeah.
You were in the hospital for 3 months.
Right.
And then you have people who were refusing to wear masks and were refusing to take the shots. Does it make you angry? Does it make you sad?
Frustrated.
Frustrated. I guess that's the right word.
Yeah, I don't attempt to change those people's mind because they believe QAnon rather than me. So I just sort of, well, okay, whatever. I mean, it's not. I would much prefer that people who are unvaccinated get vaccinated. So that what happened to me doesn't happen to them, but they have made their mind made up, and there's no reason to try to convince them otherwise.
Well, perhaps somebody listening today or watching today has not been vaccinated, and they heard your story. That will maybe light a little spark and save a life, or at least save some misery.
Yeah, I would hope so.
All right. Ken Midkiff, you know what? We're out of time.
Oh, okay.
But I thank you for coming and visiting with us today and sharing your story. Will you come back?
I will.
Okay. Ken Midkiff, formerly the Sierra Club. We're out of time. Bye-bye.